Well, good morning. It's actually late morning, but here on the farm, getting ready to do some work. Actually, just finished the work on the 2007 F350 Super Duty. It is the dually. I did some work on it from parts that come from Bulletproof Diesel out of Arizona. Been very happy with that. But I want to bring to your attention some loose bolts that I found, and it was because of a valve cover leak that I've been working on. On my Super Duty, it's you see that picnic bench. I use that to stand on, and that's a heavy duty made out of cedar, so I can get clearance to get up into the engine compartment. Now, what I experienced was a leak on the valve cover on the driver's side, and what I discovered, somebody tightened this down, or not this one but a different one, way tight, and stripped it out as far as the head for this to be tightened down. So I went, this is not the exact one, but it's a helicoil. And this is the tool that you need to fix that. You can, in there, there's the drill bit. You can drill out the hole. There's the tap, rethread that. The helicoil is right there. There's a tool that you thread that on and drive it into the head to be able to torque your valve cover bolts down. What I had done, you can see that I've got a new head gasket. But what I had done was just reuse the reusable one and took the valve cover off, cleaned it up, put it back on, and then just over a few thousand miles, I started getting the drip again. And there's some bolts that I want you to take a look at and what I discovered in doing this job. If you're like me, every time you get started in a job, you'll find something else that's wrong, that needs fixing. So in the process, I went and bought the new Felpro gasket set, and that's that VS50691R, and I replaced, this is the one for the passenger side. I'm not doing that today, but it'll come with the new rubber bushings that you can replace on your existing, that's a 12 millimeter head. Your valve cover bolts right there. Now what I do is the degas bottle, I will take and drain out, and I keep some empty antifreeze jugs, and emptied out 3 gallons of antifreeze. Take your dipstick out, put it inside the truck out of the way. This is a new one. I ended up not doing that last year sometime working on it, and I busted the plastic head off of that. So just do yourself a favor, pull it out, get it out of the way. Take your air breather off. I take it off all the way up to the turbo, and then I unfasten the degas bottle totally and take it out of the way. Next, underneath that is the FICM. Unsnap the 3 connectors on the FICM, get it out of the way, and proceed taking all of the valve cover gasket bolts loose. I do use the parts and brake cleaner in the spray can, clean that up, put the valve cover gasket back on, and when I start tightening it, I go to the center and work my way out to both ends, slowly tightening them down. Anywhere from 70 to 75 inch-pounds is the torque on those. And if you don't have a torque wrench, certainly you can just snug them up. That's not, 71, 72 inch-pounds is not real tight. But getting them off, it must have been Hercules working on this, because they really torqued them down for me to get them off, and especially to strip out the threads on one of those bolts. But I finished putting that on, tightening it down, put the antifreeze back into the system. I started to run the vehicle, and what I discovered were some bolts loose on the underside on the exhaust manifold, and I'll show you what I was looking at, what I was working on, and A 10 millimeter socket is what you need for those bolts on this particular year model, but I discovered that there were some bolts that were just hand tight. Okay, so let's slide under the truck, take a look at the exhaust manifold and what I was seeing from the bottom side of replacing the valve cover gasket and then torquing that down, putting it back together. And I looked in the book, the torque specs 28 foot-pounds. Don't get that confused with your valve covers. It is foot-pounds, 28 foot-pounds. Exhaust bolts need to be torqued at. Okay, on the underside of the truck, the front drive line, because it's a four-wheel drive, that's where I noticed the oil, and it was dripping back from the back side of the valve cover at the top. I don't know if you can really see it this well, but that last cylinder, the last two cylinders in here, what I noticed was with the vehicle running, you could see oil bubbling out from the exhaust ports between the exhaust manifold and the head. 10 millimeter bolts. Take and get you a socket, tighten those down, 28 foot-pounds, but when you finish, go ahead. These were just finger tight, and I said, well, we need to fix that. So I tightened those down, and I took care of that oil leak problem that I had. But hopefully this will help somebody out there that's maybe experiencing some oil leaks and they don't know where it's coming from. And let me back up. You can see the oil and the mess that it's made on the side of the engine, the transmission. Hopefully we'll get that cleaned up and take care of any other future leaks. And I'm getting ready to change the transmission fluid. I'm happy to see that, yes, there is a drain plug in the transmission pan, so I don't make a stinking mess out of everything. Anyway, God bless, have a great day, and keep watching. Take a look at some of the other videos to see if they can help you on your 6.0 Powerstroke. Thank you.